Oh, it's the inverse. It's going to go backwards. It's a reflection of it.
Well, hello and welcome to anybody who is listening, and I don't know that that's very many of you at the moment, so fairly quiet until I see people start clicking themselves up. But welcome to a rather cloudy but hopefully very dry day in Northampton. That's the county ground. This is the second BBS Cup that has been held at this ground. The first one was in 2013. We have had the toss, which was won by Northants, and they've chosen to bat first. So the Metro team are out on the outfield, just practicing with the ball at the moment. Game will start on time. It's 1 o'clock, and it's played with the UK version of blind cricket. So that means we're using a size 3 manner, as would be used for red ball cricket. There are some adaptations for this game, in that for almost all players, the ball must pitch before reaching the batsman. For those with lower sight, they're totally blind, and those with the special UK category of low partial, the ball has to bounce twice before reaching them. I think Metro have one player in the highest sight category allowed to play the game domestically in the UK. That's a B4 high partial sight category, which is visually impaired, but not impaired enough to be able to compete internationally. And those, it can be delivered on the full, obviously. Should the ball bounce too many times, 4 times or more, or be rolling when it reaches the batsman, that's also a no ball to any player. Wides are absolutely conventional in this game, although if there's a danger that a fielder is too close to the ball, the umpires will try and call wide early, and then the ball cannot be struck. It becomes dead on the call of wide. Umpires, of course, do allow as much time as possible, if it's not dangerous, to allow the batsman to hit the ball, and not the reason why there's a risk of danger from a wide ball is because those players with very little sight, so the totally blind and those who are classified as low partial, which may even be people who are registered as totally blind but have a little bit of vision and don't want to play wearing shades. Totals have to wear shades at all times while playing. Those low visual, the batsman, sometimes as a wall, or if there are 4 of them, 2 on the offside and 2 on the on side. And I hope you're still with us. Yes, went unstable for a moment, but I think we're all okay. So I don't think there's any conventional bats. So I think we're very close to the start of play. It looks out to the middle now. Our 2 umpires today are Ian Hopkins and Robert Hodgkinson, who both umpired quite a lot of the visually impaired game. And this is the premier visually impaired game to be invited to umpire in the UK. This competition, this final, has been running for a very long time. This is the oldest world's longest running annual disability cricket competitions. This is the 42nd final that we have today. And we're here sitting up in the school box, looking straight down the pitch. Robert is just bringing in clothing left by one of the teams out in the middle. Ian is standing at what appears to be the bowler's end, which is the far end from us, with Mo Galib from Metro, who we'd be expecting to open the bowling. So we think it's going to be Mo from the far end, the newsstand end. That newsstand has gone up since BCW were last at this ground. And we're in the scorer's box in the main pavilion. And as I say, we are just very close now to play starting. There is a struggle on the pitch which has just been dispatched. The umpire at the far end, Ian, has just walked down to the ends near us. There's conversation involving a lot of players. We're just establishing a field team on the pitch. Gareth Jones, who is in the squad but injured and so hasn't made the playing 11 today, is just bringing in that we have just a full Metro 11 are now out on the field. Metro's team today is they have Amit Amin, Hassan Khan and Ahmed Aslo, who are all totally blind players. They have Mark Russell as a low partial to complete the 4 players required in the total and low partial caps, and their mid partials, they're captained by Rory Field, and their other mid partials are Matt Dean, Nick Ebeck, Mark Bond, and Justin Hollingsworth. Their one high partial player is Damien Corrigan. And the 2 batsmen from Northants are now walking out to the middle. Opening the batting is going to be Hassan Ali and David Howells, who are both mid-partial batsmen. As with all visually impaired cricket, there is a rotation which requires a totally blind player to bat in the top 3, but they will come in. So they will come in at the fall of the first wicket. And it looks, in fact, as if we're setting up to bowl the first over from the end nearest us, from this pavilion, old pavilion end. Justin Hollingsworth seems to be behind the stumps.
Yeah.
And it's actually going to be Amit Amin, who is one of Metro's totally blind players. Looks as if he's going to bowl the first over. Hassan Ali is taking strike at the far end, and the fielding is, we've got Ahmed Aslo at short point. Hassan Khan is at a very short silly wicket, close to the batsman, so that's the very low sighted players. Mark Russell, the low partial, is at point. We have Rory Field down at third man. Mark Bond away to my left in the covers, and that first ball is lifted out into the covers. It's fielded by Mark, thrown in, and that's 2 runs off the first ball to Hassan Ali. So just to complete the fielding positions at mid-on, we've got Mo Galib. Out at deep mid-wicket, there's Matt Dean. Sort of shallow mid-wicket is Damien Corrigan, and down at fine leg we have Nick Evick, and that's again smashed out. More through extra this time. Is Mark Bond going to cut off? No, he isn't. That has gone for 4, so that's the first boundary of the day, and a great start for Northants, having chosen to bat. They've scored 6 off the first 2 balls. The ball is now back with Amit. He's just checking his position by holding on to the stumps. And perhaps I should have described for you that the stumps are slightly taller than traditional sets. They have no bails. They're moulded with the top bar integral with the verticals, so that those with little sight can orientate themselves easily. And that's just dinked square into the leg side by Hassan. They thought about a run, but Justin Hollingsworth behind the stumps was very alert and chased the ball down, and they didn't take a run. So it's still Amit to Hassan. This is outside off stump, just play to point. Mark Russell is into field, and again there's no run.
Is that no ball?
But a no ball has been called. I'm not sure why that was a no ball, but so that's going to be wide. Is it, I think? Yes. It certainly looked as if it was coming wide. The batsman ignored it, and it went through to the wicket keeper. Justin is the one Metro player who's played here before. He played in the 2013 Cup final for Warwickshire. He's now facing up against a number of his, and that is over, off. Mo Galib was there, he'd been moved across, it's gone over his head, and it's a boundary 4. So this is turning out to be a really good first over for Northants. And two balls to come in the over. Yes, so yes, Mo's moved to mid-off from mid-on. That's the change in the fielding positions. This is a straighter ball. There's 2. It's through the 2 totals. Hassan has joined Ahmed in that offside, but this is fielded by Mark Russell, running round from point. There's no run. So last ball of the first over now coming up. And this is on the legs. It's pulled away square. Nick Evick jogs in, rolls it into the keeper. That's a single. So Hassan has kept the strike. He's on 11 of 7 with 2 balls, and the total score is 13. Yes, we're agreed here in the scorers box that it's 13. We've got 1 wide and 1 no ball. And it is going to be Mo Galib, who was setting himself up from the other end to bowl the second over of this final. There's a little bit of discussion about field placings going on at the moment. standing at short square leg, where Amit apparently is going to field this over, and Ahmed and Hassan are the offside fielders close to the batsman. Mark Russell is still at point. Mark Bond is in at slip. Leg side fielders are Damien as before, and Rory. Nick Ebeck is at Matt Dean is at mid-off, and Nick Ebeck is in the covers, and it's played out into the covers. Nick fields, and there's no run. A lot of encouragement being sounded out on the field. The umpire at that far end is Ian Hopkins. So Mo's coming in off about 6 paces. He comes in now, bowls. It's just outside off stump, and it's through the wicket keeper. They come through for 1. Mark Bond's, and that's 1 by, as Mark Bond positions himself to collect the ball from Justin, who had to run about halfway to the boundary to collect the ball. So that means this is the first ball that David Howells will have faced. As ever, the bowler has to ask if the batsman's ready. He's done that. The batsman said he's ready. Ball comes in, calls play. It's struck away to mid wicket. Rory, a great tumbling stop and a lot of encouragement and clapping from those round the bat for that dot ball. So here we are. Mo now coming in from that far end. It's just outside the off stump. It's steered through the ring to Mark Russell, who returns it into the stumps. Mo had drifted away, but Matt Dean tidies up and hands the ball to Mo. So we've now 2 balls to come in the over. Mo just signalling his field, asking the fielders to come in a little closer on the offside. Mo always very particular about his field placings when he's bowling. This is on the stumps. It's clipped to mid wicket where Damien is fielding, and ball's bowled. It's defended into Mo tight bowling. That's the end of the over. 2 from that one, but just 1 against the bowler. And we moved on to 15 from 2 overs. And yeah, this is a 30 over match. It's a requirement that at least 3 overs in every 10 are bowled by totally blind players, and no bowler is allowed to bowl more than 6 overs. There's a discussion here, and I think we may be getting a bowling change, and it just being given the 1 over. Amin bowled the first over, so we're coming in to bowl this next 3rd over of the game. And, marking out the start of his run from this end, so he's coming in as Mo was off about 4 or 5 paces. It's David Howells bowling, who is on 1 from his 3 balls. That's just outside the off stump, squirted away on the ground to point, fielded, as you all know now by Mark Russell, who's fielding at point. and umpire with his arm up, but it's now down. And Rory asks if the batsman's ready, begins his run in, bowls. This is just outside leg stump. It's tucked away behind square. There isn't a fielder there. Somebody is chasing it down. It's been chased down and pulled in just short of the boundary into the keeper, but they're comfortably back there for 2 runs and have a field behind square on the leg side. Damien's square and chased the ball down to the boundary to pull it in. This is outside of stump. It's stumped into the cover in the air. There was interest in that because it was in the air, but it dropped between Mark Russell, Nick Ebeck, who's at a sort of very deepish cover, and Rory, who was running into that position from the end of his bowling run. So anyway, here we are. He's in again. He bowls. It's on the stumps. There's a huge appeal as it kind of goes away behind square. Damien does jog down to that one, and there must have been bat on it. There's no signal, so that's 1 run to David Howells. So 2 balls left in the over, and Hassan Ali is on strike for his first ball from Rory Field. This is just outside of stump and defended back on the offside. The bowler fields off his own bowling, and there's no run. There's still a lot of encouragement coming from the close fielders for Metro. And they crouch down now, those close fielders, as Rory comes in. Bowls, this is straight, it's tucked into the leg side, and it dives and grabs the ball. There's no run, and that's the end of the over. 3 from that, all to Dave Howells, who is now on 4 from 7, I believe. And after his electrically fast start, Hassan Ali is now 11 of 12. The ball that keeper always wants, which is just an edge off to Rory Field at mid wicket, and there's no run. And so Mo has now decided to ask Mark Bond to come out of slip and come in at very short mid wicket. Amit's on that side as well, but he's just a little bit squarer. This is outside off stump. It's in the air, and that is caught at mid off by Matt Dean, and there's a great big celebration from Metro. Dangerous David Howells dismissed for 4 off. No, David's just walked a few yards on the pitch and run for Mark Turnham, who is coming out to bat at 3. Mark Turnham is one of the Northants totally blind players, and again, he's somebody who has played here before. He played for Warwickshire in 2013, so he's now coming up to the batsman's position, and I'm sure there'll be some chirp around the bat, perhaps in particular from the wicketkeeper, because Justin and Mark were in the same team last time they were here. So we're all sorting ourselves out to get ready for the next ball. The umpires had a little chat themselves, separate from the players. They now walk back to their positions. So Robert Hodgkinson at square leg at this end, Ian Hopkins at the far end. There seems to be a little bit of direction from the captain to the bowler, bowling to Mark Turnham. A little bit of a change in the fields. Mark Russell taking up a different position. As you know, he's been at point for most of the game. He's come in at shortish fine leg, or sort of 45 on the leg side for Mark Turnham. We still have too short in the leg side. That's the first ball to Mark Turnham just goes out to straight, no run. It's picked up then by Hassan and returns to the bowler. And so Nick has come into field at point for Mark. That's bouncing around by the B1s. Hassan can't quite get his hands on it as it bobbles around, so it's another dot ball. Matt Dean has remained at mid-off. Rory Fields at mid-on. Damien Corrigan is at square leg next to the umpire. For any of you listening who know Damien, you will realise that even though Robert's fairly tall, he looks pretty. And that's struck by Mark into the arms of Hassan Khan at short extra. Dead ball has been called by the umpires. They're coming together to have a discussion. Metro are sort of pretty confident that that's a catch. It was certainly hit. If it wasn't a no ball, I don't think there was more than one bounce before it was gobbled up. And it's been given, yes. So that's the second in the over for Mo, as Hassan takes a catch. And we've now reached 18 for 2 as we now have a family connection out in the middle, with Asif coming out to join his brother. Just a little chat with David Howells. I'll see imparting some information about the bowling, perhaps how the pitch is performing. Ian's having a chat with Amit, and just maybe to fill up the time as they wait for the batsman to come out to the crease. So this has been fairly frantic, but we have now reached the last ball of Mo's over, and it's gone dot wicket, with one to come. So at the moment, Mo's set for a double wicket maiden, possibly, or maybe even a triple wickets maiden. We would expect Asif, perhaps in his normal way, he'll probably attack and aim to give the ball a big hit. He doesn't always look to try and get himself in before having a go, but we'll see. Against Mo, he does just defend down the pitch. It's taken on one bounce by Rory coming in from mid-on. That is a dot to end the over, and it's a maiden. So at the end of 4 overs, we have reached 18 for 2. And
I think there's one to go, but Rob thinks it's over. What do you say?
Over.
Oh, sorry, okay, you may have just heard that over the walkie-talkies. There was a little bit of discussion about whether we were counting to 6 or 7. I think in the score box here, we're pretty confident that we thought that was the end of the over. So Mo Galib now with 2 overs, 1 maiden, 2-4-1. You can't perhaps ask for anything much better than that from your opening bowler. And Rory coming on again from our end. A little discussion with Mo there, perhaps about how to get wickets. Hassan Ali to face, having just been standing watching the carnage at the far end for the past 6 balls. The field to him as it was before. So Amit's in close on the leg side, Hassan and Ahmed close on the off side. Point is Rory Field as is Mark Russell down, and Mo Galib fielding at a very fields the ball and returns it to the bowler, and Mark Bond out on the offside. This is a bit wider, and it's the front ball out on the leg side. You've got Matt Dean at sort of deep mid wicket, and at square leg it's David Corrigan. So Rory in bowls. This is straight. Had to get bat on that. Did get bat on that. Played straight back down the pitch to Rory. And there's no run. I just looks to be having a word with Mo Galib. I don't quite know whether there's a problem with that or something. Over a couple of the prepared pitches, actually Heavy Championship, and that is just prodded away into the offside. Fielded by Hassan with his head. It just might have been another chance with Hassan just looking to defend at the moment after that very attacking first over. He's now tapping the ground, waiting for the ball, which comes in again. That's straight. That is just squeezed square past a pair of totals and just out to Mark Russell. So Rory just pacing down towards us. Turns. Again, asks the batsman if they're ready. And comes in, calls play as he releases the ball. This is pulled past Dayan, and that was a really long chase for Matt Dean. He doesn't reach it. It's 4 runs to end the over, we think, if the umpires are counting as...
Wasn't no ball 4, was it? I think it was 4 for no ball.
Oh, did we have a no ball? Was that a no ball?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I missed the no ball signal there. Very sorry. So it was 4 off a no ball. So it's not the end of the over. There is still one to come. This is outside off. Thumped really hard into off his shins across to Amit, and that is the end of the over. So 5 off it, therefore, with the no ball. Oh, okay. It looks as if we may get a 3rd over from Mo. He's holding the ball there. That was Rory's 2nd over. He's none for 8. And it's moved on to 15 off 19. Asif has just faced a 1 ball from Mo so far. And ready, 2nd one near on his legs, but I think that was sliding down. There is an appeal. The bowler, as ever, is very keen. I don't think anybody else was particularly keen about that, and given not out. But from here, we could clearly see that that was sliding down leg side. Rory's quickly on it to return it to the back. It's just looking to try and get the squeeze on here. Knockball is back at slip. Oh, there's bowler comes in, dead balls signal, so a slightly longer break between balls here. As the large figure of Asif Ali gets ready. And I'm indebted to Nathan at a square leg. It goes past Amit. It's fielded by Damien Corrigan and returns to the bowler. I am absolutely indebted to Nathan Foy of England and Warwickshire for helping me to be able to distinguish between Hassan, and one of them was which. Easy. Asif is massive, and his brother is at least as tall as he is, I should think, but much slimmer in build. Asif, very solid sort of individual, crouching down now as the ball comes in. That's again down the leg side. It half beats the keeper, but it's that's the advantage of having Mark Bond. He's able to chase the ball down and just squirts behind, and so that's another dot ball. So I think we've now reached the position where there's 2 to come in this over. So I just looked to my colleague and they're nodding. So 2 to come in the 6th over of this match. Score still on 23. Oh, and Mark Bond now moving round to a wide leg slip position. It's pretty wide leg slip. I don't know. Maybe you might describe that as leg gully. I don't know. This ball's outside leg. It's behind the batsman. Just in across carefully to grab this one though. Players. The new pavilion comes in off the bat, or is it? That is another Mo Galib. So that's now 3 overs, 2 maidens, 1 run, and 2 wickets for Mo. And the score is still 23. 23 for 2 at the end of 6 overs. A little bit of a discussion, and he seems to be deciding that 2 overs from him and bowl again from this end. Certainly looks as if that's the case. To bowl his 2nd over. There's a lot of discussion about and Matt trying to set the field in the right position. Mark Bond's just been in chatting with Amit, and Mark is now walking out to mid-off. Rory Field has gone into the covers. Mark Russell is in his conventional position at point. Nick Ebbeck is down to fine leg. Damien Corrigan staying square leg. Fairly deep mid-wicket, Matt Dean, and mid-on is Mo Galib. Hassan has come across to the leg side to fill that gap left by Amit as he's bowling. So Amit is on his own and this is outside off stump, thump back straight past the bowler. Mark Bond's across to stop it. They've come through for 1. Rory Field runs into back up. So Asif now to face his first ball from Amit. This is again wide outside the off stump, bouncing a little. A lot of swing and I think no contact as the ball just bounces through to Justin, who's behind the stumps. The umpire helping Amit to set himself up there. Leg side. Well, I think there may have been some bat on that, I'm not sure, but it certainly went almost nowhere and Justin easily able to field that. Return it down to the bowler's end. Robert again just helping the bowler to collect the ball and be ready. We are trying to make sure that this game is played through reasonably quickly. The match referee, very experienced VI umpire, Roger Barker, did say to the umpires that he wanted the game to be played quickly. That's outside off stump, reverse, but it doesn't go very far, so perhaps not great contact. Mark Russell was across quickly to pick that ball up, and they've just scored 1. So this has been a very good. They've just scored 2 off the over. It's great to have a scoring colleague who's on the ball and on top of all of this. This game also is being live on Play Cricket, I should say, and that's just dinked into the leg side there by Hassan for another single. Interesting because the other Hassan, Metro's Hassan, had just come across his close in leg side position to reinforce the offside. I think that last shot would probably have kind of gone to him and not into the kind of hole in front of Matt Dean. This is too far outside off stump and signalled wide, as it may not have been a wide if Asif had done what he was looking to do, which was to reverse and thump the ball through third man. But this one's on leg stump. It's swung round to fine leg, couple of bounces down to Nick Ebeck, who throws the ball in. That's another single, 2 off of 7. So I'm sure Amit will be much more pleased with that over than his first one. Just going for the 5 runs. So we now have Hassan on 17 from 21, and Asif is on 2 from 11. Oh. And in order to save the computer for this YouTube broadcast, I've given up using the computer, so I'm manually scoring linear. So my additions rely on me being, as most people will know, is not the kind of greatest of things. And interestingly, now we have a change bowler at the far end. It's Justin Hollingsworth coming in. It's on leg stump. It's tucked square to Damien Corrigan. And there's no run there for Asif off that first ball that Justin's over. So, yes, they were teammates together at Warwickshire Bears. They're now on opposite sides. He was here for the Bears, as that is connected with through the offside. Fantastic chase across the ball, flicked into Mo, who'd only been jogging down there, who throws it in. They've come back for 2, but a fantastic chase across by Matt Dean to pull that in short of the boundary and save 2 runs for Metro. Yes, so well, we'll just wait for this ball to be bowled and then I'll give you some information. That's well outside off stump through to Rory Field, who's keeping with Justin bowling. I thought that might have been wide, but it isn't. Justin those days just bowling off with 2 or 3 paces. Oh, that is just through the cordon. That's just through the cordon of totals. Strong call of mine from Mark Bond coming in from cover. No run. So yes, just last time Justin was here, 5 for 28 against Sussex in 2013. This outside off stump through to point. Bit of a scramble single, the ball thrown in, bouncing away from Roy, but Mo's backed up and returned it to the bowler. They're through for a single. So Hassan Ali now to face his first ball from the outside off stump. It's dragged across to mid-on where Mo fields it, throws in against the stumps. So that's definitely a dead ball. Ball goes dead when stumps are broken, and that over's gone for 3. So we've just moved into the 30s. Now 31 for 2 off 8. And it looks as if it's going to continue from this short at square leg. He's standing on one of those covers protecting the pitches for future games. The diving Rory Field can't quite cut it off. He's poor to us for that tremendous jump. He was across, cut it past Mark Russell, and Rory cut it off. This one is more leggy, and it's swung away over Nick Eck. Near the expectation of the sort of batsman who prods and nurdles and tries to work the ball into the gaps and take the singles. He likes to try and hit the ball, but that one was certainly aerial and might have given somebody a chance. Nick Ebeck has now dropped himself right back to the rope at fine leg. This is towards him again. He's running in. He's got his hands on it, but he's not caught it. But that does mean it's just the single. It was good effort by Nick to get there and get hands on it. Cat for him. Congratulates. It's Hassan Ali now. That's on his stumps. Yes, he is much more likely to just nurdle the ball around. He just gets on top of it, prods it down into the leg side behind Hassan, who's the fielder short on the leg side, totally blind fielder short on the leg side, and in front of Matt Dean. There's a big gap there. I don't know if and that's been reversed. So out of reach of Mark Russell behind square, just thumped away to the boundary by Asif for his third boundary in this over. Reverse that and thump it really hard as a sign towards sort of square third man or backward point. So we've now reached the last ball of the over. This is straight, several bounces on middle stump. Bowler comes all the way across to Mark Bond. Mo was perhaps supposed to be backing up the bowler, but he wasn't. He's sauntered up to the stumps now. Mark Bond into Justin, and so that allowed them to get through for 2 with the over. So 16 off that over means that we're at 47 for 2 after 9. And its 3 overs have now gone for 34. Asif has now overtaken his brother, I believe. He's got 20 off 21, and his brother Hassan is on 18 off 23. They both have 3 boundary fours. Into the 10th over now. Up 10th over, it's but no connection the ball goes through to Rory, who is keeping. Damien is now at cover. There's a fairly strong leg side field now. That's just dinked down to point. A lot of activity about who was going to field it. In the end, it's Mark Russell who tidies up and returns it to the bowler. Nick Ebeck is down here in front of us at fine leg. Mark Bond square leg. Fine leg. Mark Bond square leg. Mo Galib is. Was Gerald here in the in the Warwickshire Bears team when they played in that last cup final? I can't actually quite remember that. They played in that last cup final. I can't actually quite remember that. Unfortunately, I don't have Dave Garanovich problem at all. I only know any numbers if I've got them written down, and I can look them up for you. But seem to be ready. There's just a little bit of adjustments of the close in fielders by Rory. I think he's brought Hassan just backward of square. Ahmed is just forward of squares. Ball comes in, and Gerald defends carefully forward of squares. Ball comes in, and Gerald defends carefully offside. No run. So I think there's one now to come in the over, and it could be another maiden from that end. We'll have a look at this one. It's wide-ish, but okay, it seems. If I have a look, but no run. So another maiden, but this is the first 1 wicket of the innings. We've had a maiden, we've had a 2 wicket maiden, and now we've had a 1 wicket maiden. And so Justin's figures at the moment: 2 overs, 1 maiden, 1 for 3. Yes, we can do that off the play cricket scoreboard that's displaying, and you may or may not be able to see that's displaying, and you may or may not be able to see if you're watching this visually on YouTube. We did do that on another occasion, and Amit coming on for his 4th over now. So at this end, that is on leg side, on leg stump. It's swung high and fair. That deans across quite the field, and there's just 1 run to Asif. So Gerald now asking for a guard. I think he's it's either Midland leg or leg stump guard. So Gerald now asking for a guard. Field, looking leg side. Damien Corrigan is in quite tight at square leg. Nick Ebeck is on the boundary there at fine leg. Bounces up. Gerald just defends it down into the ground. Damien just takes a couple of paces in, fields the ball to recover the ball. Amit sets himself up again, arm cocked, ready to bowl. And this is down the leg side. Gerald, it's gone really sort of through third man almost. The shot that a lot in the UK, if the ball is wide enough outside the leg stump and the wicket hasn't come across to block the shot, they like to whip the ball so that it goes to a very, very, very fine third man or almost straight behind the wicket. Because if you can just get it across onto that offside, it does mean that the person running from fine leg struggles to reach the ball. This time outside off stump, reversed again. This time to point. Rory's across quickly, throws it in, and that's just a single. So, and I forgot to say to you that 4 brought up the North Ants 50. They're now on 53 for 3, and the same shot, different batsman, but the same absolute thumping by Assi. Hit really, really hard, quite square. Rory Field's not far away from there, but there was no way he could have cut that off. So, second boundary of the over, and the last ball bobbles away, Justin, but they're not interested in trying to take a second. So that's 11 off that over. And so Amit's figures now 4 overs, no maidens, none for 45. Gerald has moved on to 5. That's a run a ball. That's 26. It's a little over a run a ball because he's faced 24. He has 4 boundaries. It looks as if Justin is going to be continuing from the far end. He's just lurking behind Ian Hopkins as the field set themselves up. The ball is across on the leg side. The ball is across on the leg side. It's thumped out. He comes forward a bit more towards square leg to field, throws the ball into Gerald, now on strike, wearing bright blue shoes, so he's easy to distinguish. All up, there's no run, and we're quickly round. So Justin is already now in and bowling. A little bit of arm waving. I don't know whether Justin is looking to adjust his field. He's sent Matt Field into the leg side at mid-on. Mo Gallop's at mid-wicket. That's just bounced over the off stump, beaten the keeper, and that is a bye. So that's the second bye of the innings. So both wicket keepers have now conceded a bye, the 2 Metro wicket keepers. So Justin conceded 1 and Rory's now conceded 1. This is on leg stump, tucked away square just behind Damien. Nick is quickly across to Ali remaining 18.1. That's leg side, and keeper not across to grab it. It's rolled down in front of us. It's a lot of shouting, but there's only been 1 run taken. And there was a little bit of bat on that, presumably. There's no signal. So that's and just in 3 overs, 1 maiden, 1 for 6. And Rory is bringing himself back at this end. He's so far bowled 2 overs for 8 runs. He's now bowling to Gerald. Bowling right arm over. Stop the keeper.
No ball.
Yeah, it's a no ball. Bounced away towards the leg side, but didn't take a run, so it's still it comes in and Fields got 2 balls. We've got 2 balls left. For Gerald, Nick Ebeck as ever, sprightly in the field, running across to field the ball. So just a single for Asif, which brings Gerald to face Justin. Yes, field set up with a leg or bat or something bobbled square. Damien Cargan is across. Well, that ball moved around all over the place. I thought it was going to be horribly wide. It did come in back in a bit wide. It did come in back in a bit, but still signalled wide down the leg side. This one is straighter. Coming on. He's bowling the 15. Mark Russell for a dot ball. So the large figure of Damien, right arm round again. It's outside off, sort of looking for a reverse shot. It went very straight, beat the keeper, and almost everybody converging on the stumps at that end to collect the ball as it was thrown in by Nick, and 1 run has been scored. And a change of action now. Right arm over. Change of action, but also a change of striker because it's Gerald now down at that far end. It's outside, it's reversed, it's beaten Mark Russell, and it's gone to the boundary for 4 runs to Gerald. That's his second boundary. And it's gone to the boundary for 4 runs to Gerald. That's his second boundary. 11. And ball back with the bowler. It does look tiny in his hands. Comes in, bowls. This is straighter, and Gerald just defends it down. It beat returned with some teams, such as Northants, spending the first 6 weeks playing only away games, while other sides got more comfortable with the idea of travel. But by the end of June, the regional leagues mostly started, and almost every team were playing away games lots of times before. Heindrich, Swanepoel, who this competition is now named after, who took 6 for 7 in 2001 when Metro were playing Lancashire Galloway. Hugely popular member of the Northants side. This is down the leg side as he just leaves it alone, but it's called a no ball, so why not? Takes go this, and the batsman managed to catch him close as Moon comes in and bowls outside off stump and just through to the keeper. So yeah, after it, but he's not going to. It's a boundary for Asif. There's great deal of catch. There's great deal of applause, and Moon's conceded. That's rather dented his economy. That's so. Oh, it's another pretty big wide. For 45. 46 innings by Asif. before 204s in this over so far, with two balls remaining. And rolling in now to have a little discussion with mid-on. Previous cup finals in which he's 17 to Asif and the wide, making it 18 off the over. So we've reached 120. That's a reverse shot through third man. So that is, and Gerald out for 22 off 377. And Justin perhaps wanting to make sure that he got hold of the ball and didn't miss it. Didn't really attack the North Ants. The ball pretty well. The umpires have had their discussion. Ian Hopkins is walking down towards the Hugh Spence end stumps. Turns and his finger goes up. So a fantastic round. He's recognisable by wearing his cap back to front with action. He's coming the over. This is straighter. The ball is squirting it towards there. It's been the stumps to make sure that there wasn't a run. So it's still Hassan to Dave Keeling. And that's very leg side and that bent back and just creeps outside the wide line, that one. He's not able to catch it as it runs out. North Ants supporters, who I think are sitting in front of us in this stand. There are a large number of supporters as well in the stand away to my left, so the leg side boundary. There are a large number of supporters as well in the stand away to my left, so the leg side, and the bowler staying over the wicket. There's a light aircraft or a helicopter or something around, but so which has so far gone for 10 runs. So Damien Corrigan 1 for 20 runs. So Damien Corrigan 1 for 24 at the moment. Wide off stump, but straight enough for the umpire. And it looks as if we're now going to see Hassan probably complete his overs from this end. An over correction down the leg side from Hassan. Yes, so that was just sliding down leg, I think, as it played on the ankle and didn't quite roll onto the stumps. But the the ball ended up lying on the floor, but a dot ball, and so Hassan's last legal delivery. That's a bit leg side, but not far enough again. Well taken by the keeper to end the over. 8 off. Far enough again. 8 off. We suspect that's Hassan done at 3 overs for 32. The Keeling has moved on to remarkably rapid 15 off 10 with 2 boundaries. And we moved on to 23 wides. And I'm not going to say I told you so, but you perhaps won't be surprised to hear that coming in from the Hugh Spence end, we have Rory Field for his 5th over. He's 4 overs, none for 14 at the moment. I thought I'd almost missed a ball then because he was running in while I was still tidying up my scorecard for the end of last over, but he's just pulled up in his run, so he's back at his mark now. So Keeling's crouching as he approaches. He bowls. It's on off stump. It's out towards Damien, but it's just over Damien at mid off. Damien jogs on after it. They've taken 2. I think they're only interested in 2. So Rory turns at the end of his mark. I'll suppose on. I love wearing shorts in the summer. It's one of the batsmen moved miles towards the leg side. So and Hassan was chasing it, but it was bouncing far too high. It was bouncing far too high. Partial able to get near that as it went miles up into the air, just over the heads of Hassan and Ahmed, fielding close in there outside the off stump. Outside off stump, batsman gave him a bit of a charge, a big swing, but the ball just went through to the keeper. So score's still 179. We've got 2 balls left in the 29th. Again, outside off. Again, 9th. Again, outside off. Again, swing and a miss, and again the ball through to the keeper. So Mo's got 1 ball in his spell, and he could end up with a whole, but perhaps not. That's struck out to cover, and that's 2 to Dave Norwich, who doubles his score with 6 overs, 2 maidens, 3, who doubles his score 11, and we've reached 181 for 6 with 1 over left, and just 5 minutes over the 2.5. Well done to both sides for getting through the game fairly quickly. Sort of hit him on the body, straightish. It's gone to Roy, and there's no run. David has now got his back almost as if that's in front of a second set of stumps outside off. This is again onto his body in front of the stumps. Just drops onto the ground in front of him. No run. It's back to Rory. I hope everybody around the world's been listening to this. I can see so far there's been no followers, so it's gone out miles. Mark Bonds had to chase it.
3.
They're coming back for a 3rd. So that's 6. Steve Moore, who's faced 2 balls so far with 3 more. And his team Spence end, it's Rory Field. It's a straight one, it's miles up in the air. That is a catch behind the stumps to Justin Hollingsworth. So that is 187 or 7 or 3 deliveries. We've got 2 balls. Now the ball was in the air a long time, so umpires have come together.